Now that we're done with the bandsaw work, what we have left is called the rough out. This is our basic shape, but now we're going to have to give it surfaces the curves it deserved. But most importantly, what we have to do here is hollow out this end, and we're going to hollow that out using a new tool, one that we haven't used yet. And I chose to use a gouge that's made by the Warren Company. This has a changeable blade, and it's a pretty good tool. It sharpens well, and it holds its edge for a long, long time. And now I'm going to use this hole and work toward it. And that hole is the limit of the amount or the distance I'm going to cut. And if I'm going to have a limit on that end, I want to have a limit on this end. So, before I begin cutting anything away, I'm going to draw in my limit. Remember I said that the pencil line was the limit for how far you're going to cut? Well, that's what we're doing now. We're doing the pencil line by making it just a by guess, and we can finish this up later. But we're going to make that the shape of the inside of the spoon so that we have a thickness. That space between the edge and the line is the thickness. This is the part we're going to cut away. Are you ready? Well, let's go. Let's get our Warren tool, and we're going to start cutting near the hole and stop. And I'm going to go all the way around and cut, and that hole is my stop cut. That's what's going to make it stop, and we're never going to go further than that. That's going to help us make that bowl symmetric on the inside. Now, we don't have to be terribly neat about taking away material, excepting that we should keep going all the way around. All the way around. I don't want to start any closer to the edge than that line. In fact, I'm going to wait to get to that line until I'm almost done with the bowl. And you see, every cut goes to that center hole and stops. I'm trying to cut only with my wrists, the bottom end of my arm. And you'll notice that I'm wearing that safety glove that we discussed in the safety part of the disc. Now, those of you that are trying this for the first time, you start to realize why I can use that technique for doing just about any hollowing out of anything at all. It doesn't have to be a spoon. And you're right. What you're going to need eventually for your kit of tools is a set of different shaped spoons. This is called a spoon gouge, just because of the way it's bent. And it helps us to get down in there and make the hollow of the bowl nice and rounded. You notice on some of these, I'm not going directly straight down into it. I'm letting it curve down in. It's helping me get the curve of the bowl inside. And besides that, it's a nicer feel. You start to enjoy the carving. You feel like you're doing something and that you have absolute control of that knife. What a great feeling that is. You feel as though you could carve just about anything. And look at how that basswood responds to the gouge. Boy, that's a beautiful cut, isn't it? It gets better than that as we get deeper. Wow, look how deep down in there we're getting. And you can see the bottom of the hole, which means we don't have very far to go. By golly. It looks like I'm not even going to go all the way to the tip. That means we'll take off a little bit on the end. We can hardly see where the hole was. Just barely visible. we're almost to the bottom, and that means we've reached the thickness. But you see how the sides are much heavier. That thickness we're going to control by taking from the outside. But let me just make this a little bit smoother as we get to the very bottom of this bowl. And we'll try to take as many of those circular marks out as we can. It's important that this gouge remains sharp, because a gouge that isn't sharp is going to tear the material out of the bowl rather than slice it out. I like the way basswood cuts. Oh, it's a nice clean wood. And if you have the control of your knife, you don't even have to sand this when you're done. The knife cut is a smoother cut than sandpaper could possibly give you. The reason you go all the way around constantly turning this thing is so you don't make it one-sided or lopsided. I hope you've been watching to see that I've kept my arms at my side, and that I took small pieces so that I'd only make small mistakes. Because you make big mistakes only when you take big pieces. I've got that just about hollowed out now. And I think that that's as far as we're going to go for the purpose of the disc. That's as far down as we're going to make that bowl. Now I'm ready to do the outside of this thing. You ready?